Be'ezrat Hashem, Parashat Vayetze. Let's take a Rashi and explain one of the Rashis in the Parashat. Before explaining the Rashi, let's see what's going on over here. Vayetze Yaakov mi Be'er Shava va'elech Harana. Yaakov is going out of Beersheba, he's running away from Beersheba. His mother and his father told him to go out, right? So basically, he's running away from his brother who wants to kill him, but he's doing a mitzvah. He didn't go out for nothing. He went out because his mother told him to go out and his father told him to go out. So he went out. Vayelech Harana is on his way to Haran. Vayivga b'makom. Then all of a sudden he finds himself in a place, right, which is going to be Bet HaMikdash, the future Bet HaMikdash, which is going to be Yerushalayim, where Avraham Avinu did the Akedah with his son Yitzchak. And he sleeps overnight and he sees the famous dream with the ladder and the malachim going up and down. The next day he goes to Haran. Right? And over there he's going to meet his future wife, Rachel, right? And then he's going to meet his future father-in-law, Lavan. Yafeh. Lavan Arami, Lavan Aramai. The Torah tells us, when he came to Haran, and Lavan heard that Yaakov came, he ran to see him. Okay? He ran to see him. Why did he run to see him? ויהי כשמוע לבן את שם יעקב בן אחותו, וירוץ לקראתו, ויחבק לו, וינשק לו, ויביאו אל ביתו, ויספר לבן כל הדברים האלה. So right away, he hugged him. Why does he hug him? He thinks maybe he has something, diamonds or gold or something. Lama? He says, the slave of the grandfather Avraham, when he came to Haran, when Lavan was a little kid, he came with 10 camels with merchandise. He says, for sure he's bringing something, but he doesn't see camels. He says, probably he's hiding on him. He taps him, and klum. Vaynasheklo. He kisses him, he says, maybe he has diamonds, and the diamonds they keep in the mouth. And klum. Vaysaper lelavan et kol hadevarim. So he's telling him, listen, he doesn't have nothing. How is it possible you don't have nothing? So this is the Rashi I want to talk about today. Rashi brings down, he says that he came, Yaakov was crying. Why? Because he came empty-handed. He says, Eliezer, Eved Avi Abba, Eliezer, the slave of my grandfather, Ayu be'ado nezamim, tzmidim, migdanot. He came with jewelry, he came with bracelet, he came with chains, he came with fruits, he came with a lot of things. 10 camels, right? And him, he's about to get married. Vani ani ba bli klum. Why is he coming bli klum? So Rashi says כך. לפי שרדף אליפז בן עשיו במצוות אביו להורגו. Esav gave an order to his son Eliphaz. He couldn't kill Yaakov. Esav couldn't kill Yaakov because he swore, as long as the father Yitzchak is alive, he's not going to touch his brother. But he couldn't hold himself, so he sent his son Eliphaz to kill Yaakov. As he was able to catch up to Yaakov on the way, and then he wanted to kill him. ולפי שגדל אליפז בחיקו של יצחק, משך ידו. Because Eliphaz learned in the Yeshiva of Yitzchak Avinu, his grandfather, at the end, he didn't kill Yaakov, because Yaakov told him, Amar lo, how can you kill me? Lo tirtzach. You're not allowed to kill. Amar lo, so Eliphaz told him back, what do you mean you don't know to kill? Ma yaseh letzivui shel Abba, but my kibud avayim. My father told me to kill you. So basically I'm doing what my father did, tell me. And it's mitzvah. So yeah, but there's a mitzvah not to kill also. So he said, what do you want me to do? It's a paradox for me. So Amar lo Yaakov. So Yaakov told him, says Rashi, Tol ma shebeyadi ve'ani chashuv kamet. Take everything I have, and he's going to stay. Yaakov is going to stay poor, and the poor like he's dead. And then go back to your father and say you killed him. Okay? And you're not lying. It's bemet kacha. He did so good the mitzvah. He made Yaakov Avinu take off his clothes. He took everything. Yaakov went with a lot of money because he's about to get married. So he took a lot of money with him. He took jewelry with him. Ba Eliphaz, takes everything. And He says, you know what? If את עני חשוב כמת, אתה לא עני, יש לך בגדים. You're not poor, you have clothes still. He made him go into a river, there was a river there. He made him go into the river, לפשוט את הכותונת, הכל, לקח לו, השאיר אותו ערום. And Yaakov was stuck in the water, he couldn't go out.
עבר איזה פרש.
עבר פרש אחד. A soldier passed by, got a heart attack, נפל ומת. Yaakov went and took his clothes, took his horse, okay? And he was able to continue on his way. Comes to Haran, empty-handed. He sees his future wife, Rachel. He recognizes this is going to be his future wife. He has nothing what to give her, not bracelet, no chain, no nothing, right? Bacha. He was crying. He says, "Why? I know that my grandfather's slave, when he came here, he came with a lot of goods, right? But I have nothing what to give you." Lavan is running to him, mechabek oto, he hugs him, he kisses him, and klum. As Lavan אומר לו, טוב, what can I do with you? You know, you're my sister's son, let me take you in. This Rashi is a very interesting Rashi. Let me tell you why. There was one time, a Chiloni, he came to Bet HaMidrash. He came to a house of study, to a Kolel, Bet HaMidrash. הוא רואה שם 100 students, 100 students. So he's asking, what is everybody studying over here? They're studying Rabbanut. They want to become rabbis. אז הוא אומר, whoa, how many rabbis do we need? How many rabbis do we need? There's so many kolelim, there's so many, everybody wants to be a rabbi. What are we going to do with all those rabbis? Okay? שאלה יפה. It's a beautiful and nice question. But let's try to answer the question. There is a Midrash Ruth. There's a Midrash Ruth. A Midrash says the following thing. 1,000 נכנסים לבית המדרש. 1,000 students, they go into בית המדרש to study Torah. 100, only 100 of them, בעלי משנה. When they'll come out, they'll be able to be able to learn Mishnah by themselves. So they'll be able to master. They'll be able to master the Mishnah. 10 out of them will be able to master Talmud. only אחד מהם, only one of them is going to become a rabbi.
וואו.
אתה מבין מה הולך פה?
1,000
תלמידים.
אחד מ-1,000 לא ביקש.
על הפסוק הזה נאמר. אחד מ-1,000 מועצה. 1,000 תלמידים. So you have only 10 mastering Mishnah, which is completely in Hebrew, a little bit easier to understand. 10 mastering Talmud. They might know Talmud by heart. They might know the whole Talmud. They might know how to study Talmud by themselves and Tosfot and Rashi and everything you want. And only one masters halacha, becomes a rabbi. כן? מה זאת אומרת? מה אתה מבין מזה? You understand from that in order to have one rabbi, you need 1,000. You need 1,000 students. So you can form one rabbi. אתה מבין? אז אתה נכנס למקום, you go into a place, אתה רואה 100 לומדים פה, 100 people over here, 50 over here, 100 over there, 70 over here, 10 over here. אתה שואל את עצמך, how many כולל עם ישראל needs? As many as possible. Because don't think all of them are going to become rabbis or something. Not many are going to succeed to become rabbis, right? יפה, כן? אבל, מה קורה עם כל השאר? You're telling me out of 1,000, 100 master Mishnah, 10 master Talmud, 1 masters Halacha. How many in total? 110 and 1, 111. 111. There is 899, right? 89 people. What becomes of them? מה יהיה איתם? They also studied. But nothing?
No.
Nothing? So what? אז תגיד לי, that's called Torah לשמה. That's called they studied. It's good enough. They studied, it's good enough.
יכולים לצאת מועלים, יכולים לצאת...
לא. So the emet, you know what's the emet?
שוחטים, עשרת דברים.
The emet is, they're not going to become, they're going to maybe go into business. But you know what's the difference? They're going to be honest ba'alei batim. Honest businessmen. Maybe they're not going to master the Mishnah, and they're not going to master the Talmud, and they're not going to be rabbis. They're going to be honest people, honest businessmen. They're going to know that when you do business, you cannot take rebit, you cannot charge, right, interest. They know that you cannot overcharge a price for a certain item because it's called ona'ah. To charge a certain item that has a set price like bread, milk, eggs, basic food, if you overcharge 17%, which is a sixth, you're in default with the Torah. It's called ona'ah. Velo tonu ish et amito. Now, if you sell a table, a chair, so each one has a special chair, special table. So each one can charge the price he wants, you know? But when you have basic items like bread, milk, water, there's a price. So you can charge more up to 17%, not more. After 17%, no. Clothes is different. Clothes. There's kol minei bgadim. There's cotton. There's wool. You can have suits out of wool, suits out of cotton, suits out of blend. No, but it's not a basic necessary
It's not
thing.
basic commodity.
Right, basic to live. Yafeh. What do we still understand? בשביל שיהיה אנשים honest, בשביל שיהיה אנשים טובים, they must go study. So they don't have necessarily to become בעלי משנה, בעלי תלמוד, בעלי הוראה. They don't have to be. They have to be honest people. But to be honest people, they have to learn. Look at what... בדיוק. כל עם ישראל. בוא תראה מה אומר רש"י. What does Rashi say? I want to read to you again Rashi. I want to read to you again the Rashi. מה אמר רש"י? Rashi says, Eliphaz ben Esav was running b'mitzvat aviv leorgo. He came to kill Yaakov. What did Yaakov tell him? How can you kill me? There's a mitzvah of lo tirtzach. Okay? Amar lo, and what's batzivui shel Abba? What am I going to do with my father's order to kill you? Right? So Amar lo, did you ever hear the halacha she'ani chashuv kamet? Amar lo, okay, we're going to take whatever I have. מה זאת אומרת? מה אומר זה? If Eliphaz wouldn't learn by Yitzchak in the yeshiva, he would have killed Yaakov.
Okay.
Just because he lived in the yeshiva and studied in the yeshiva, so he has a little bit of notion, קצת, ידיעה, קצת, what's right, what's wrong. So he has now a paradox between his father's order and what Yaakov is telling him. So right away, Yaakov is telling him something which makes sense. Ani chashuv kamet, a poor man is considered like that. He says, oh, that's a good advice for me.
He didn't teach him that the rule that if your father is a rasha, you're not supposed to listen to him?
Yeah, but הוא לא למד, הוא לא תלמיד.
לא למד את זה, הוא לא כזה... לא היה חרדי.
לא ידע שישאל אותך עכשיו. אם הוא יערוק, את אביך ואת אמך ולרצוח. מה אתה עושה? הנה, בבקשה, תמיד חכם והכל, מה התשובה?
לא, אבא שלו אמר לו לרצוח.
Yeah. Anyways, to tell you...
הוא לא ידע שהוא נרצח. הוא לא עשתה לעשות.
יפה. קונטיניאמוס.
זה יעקב היה גאון, הביא לו תשובה.
כן, נכון?
הוא ידע שיקח ממנו את הכסף, למה השם שלו, אליפז, אלי הזהב. לפי השם הוא ידע לדעת שלו.
יפה. טוב, עמרם. Let's continue. So understand why it's important people go to yeshiva? Sometimes boys go to yeshiva for 1 year. And you say, well, 1 year. Even one day, you go to yeshiva, your head starts thinking Torah way. Means the business, your life, how to conduct with your wife, how to grow your children. All this comes in account. So maybe you're not Baal Mishnah, you're not Baal Talmud, right? But you are Ben Torah. זה נקרא Ben Torah. Ben Torah means somebody, right, that studies Torah. And you understand what's important in life, and he knows what you're supposed to do and what you're supposed to do. I want to show you something similar. When we came out of Egypt, how many Jews came out of Egypt? Men, ladies, and children.
600,000.
600,000 men,
3 מיליון בערך.
600,000 men between 20 and 60.
60.
So we're not counting the people under 20. We're
Right.
not counting the people over 60.
Over 60.
We're not counting the ladies. We're not counting the children. So according to Chachamim,
מינימום 3
we
מיליון.
were 3 million, around
Okay.
3 million people coming to Egypt. What was the idea of coming out of Egypt? Going back to our land. Which is our land? Israel. 3 million people came out. How many people out of those 3 million came into Israel?
Maybe 12,000.
How many people came into Israel? Two.
2.
Caleb
ויהושע.
ויהושע. It took 3 million people to cut out of Egypt, so only 2 people out of this whole generation come into Israel.
גם פנחס.
Huh?
פנחס.
Pinchas, 3 people. 3. Out of 3 million. It's not even 1%.
אבל כתוב כלו מתי מדבר, לא? נשאר 15,000, כל שנה היו 15,000 מתים.
יפה, זה חשבונות,
כן.
אבל למעשה, מה אנחנו יודעים?
למעשה, כן, מי כאילו מבא.
מהדור הזה נכנס 2.
כן.
2. So you see the same notion. Sometimes you need a lot to have a little. And if you have a little, you have nothing. So sometimes you say, you know, why should I go to Shur Torah? It's already 1 hour. It started half an hour ago. It's left half an hour. No, go. אתה לא יודע מה תרוויח בחצי שעה הזאת. You don't know what you're going to gain in this half an hour. אתה הולך לתפילה. He says, let me stay home. Yeah, let me stay home. You know, it's already late. They're probably already by Amidah. Listen, at least you hear a Kaddish. You're going to take something.
כן.
Take something, you know. Don't say, because you need a lot to have something. You need a lot to have something. So זה מלמד אותך, אל תחשוב לפעמים, no. לוקח הרבה, it takes a lot to have a little bit, כן? אז זה מה שמלמד אותנו פה אליפז, יעקב אליפז, אומר לו, תעשה ככה וככה, אתה למדת בישיבה, it's not for you, you know. מספרים, בזמן החפץ חיים, בזמן, in the time of the חפץ חיים, there was a boy that he was a philosopher. So the mashgiach of the yeshiva came to the Chafetz Chaim and he told them, you know, this boy is a bad influence. He has all kinds of philosophies. He speaks about all kinds of things. זה לא ברוח התורה. It's not the way of Torah thinking. It's not Torah thinking בכלל. So the Chafetz Chaim told them, bring him right away. So the Chafetz Chaim told them, I want you to leave the yeshiva right now. He told them, Rabbeinu, it's 6 o'clock. Where do you want me to go? He says, go home. He says, Rabbeinu, the last train was 5:30. He says, when is the next train? The Chafetz Chaim asked him. So he told the Chafetz Chaim, next morning at 7 o'clock. He says, very good. But you cannot stay in yeshiva. You're coming to my house. He didn't kick him out. He took him to his house. טוב, לקח אותו הביתה, and he stayed till the next morning. 6 o'clock, he sent them to the train, עזב את הישיבה, never came back. הבן אדם הזה גדל, and he became a very big businessman. כל occasion, every time there was a parlor meeting, you know, for they raising money for this yeshiva, they're raising money for this, for that, Torah purposes, he was the first one to donate big sums of money. So one time somebody asked him, תגיד, אתה בקושי שומר שבת, you hardly keep Shabbat. אתה לא דתי. So how come you put so much money to invest so much money in Torah? So he told them, I have to tell you about the night that I stayed by the Chafetz Chaim. I have to tell you what happened. מה קרה? When the truth is I was tired. So right away I went to sleep. But that night was minus 30 outside. It was cold. And I went to sleep. The Chafetz Chaim gave me a bed and he gave me a small blanket. והיה לי קר. I was cold, but I was sleeping because I knew the next day is going to be a long day for me. Because I have to go take train until I travel. You know, זה 3 ימים נסיעה. 3 days of traveling. So I fell asleep, but I was cold. In the middle of the night, I felt all of a sudden, it was hot. אז חשבתי, החפץ חיים, I thought the חפץ חיים, he probably put up more logs in the fire, you know, and logs at that day was a lot of money. טוב, he wakes up in the morning, מה הוא רואה? הוא רואה שהחפץ חיים took off his fur coat, he had a big fur coat, and he put it on him to warm him up. הוא אמר לו, you know, this coat warmed me up, כן? kept me warm till today. עד היום המיל הזה keeps me warm, כן? The חפץ חיים wanted to kick him out, אתה מבין? אבל לא, he didn't just get rid of him. He didn't just get rid of him. הוא חימם אותו, right? So the same thing, יצחק. מה, אתה חושב שהוא לא יודע שזה רשע? You think יצחק doesn't know that אליפז זה רשע? Like his father. כן? אבל, he knows that he can become a very dangerous person. אז מה היה? מקרב אותו. Come, I want to learn with you a Mishnah. Come, I want to learn with you a Gemara. So Yitzchak used to learn with him. Why? To warm it up. So in case something is going to happen, and here, מה קרה? רצה להרוג את הבן שלו, רצה להרוג את יעקב. He wanted to kill יעקב אבינו. And בזכות that יצחק אבינו kept him in the yeshiva, he saved Yaakov. This is why we keep in yeshiva sometimes, you see boys, כל שנייה gets up, takes a coffee, speaks with this one. It's not a pleasant thing to see, and sometimes the Rosh Yeshiva gets impatient with such boys. You know, you come here to learn, right? But we have to understand, you have to also do chokhmah. You have to use chokhmah. You cannot kick out such a person out of yeshiva. פעם אחת בבני ברק, a real story, בני ברק, there was a troublemaker, a kid. He was a young kid. He was maybe 11 years old, but he was a troublemaker like לא נולד כמוהו. Any trouble that he can have done, ואתה לא מדבר ישיבה קטנה, אתה מדבר ישיבה 200, 300, 400 people, כן? והוא היה עושה בלגן, the rabbis couldn't anymore with him. The rabbis couldn't anymore. One time, they came on a Thursday to pray. So everybody's praying, and the whole prayer there, meh, meh, meh. So he says, one of the boys is making this noise. So the rabbis, they're looking, אף אחד לא עושה את noise. And they hear, meh, meh, meh. The rabbis were going nuts. Who is this kid that does that? So right away, who they looked at? That's this troublemaker. But you see, he's praying. He says, who's making the noise? Oh, troublemaker. לא מצליחים. They're not. טוב. הגיעה קריאת התורה. So somebody goes, open the echal. He opens the echal. Out of the echal jumps a goat. Baby goat. The noise came from the echal, baby goat. And the goat started running. התחיל בלגן. Everybody started screaming. Some people got scared. Some people got excited. So the rabbis look at each other. Yeah. This guy, you know, this guy. So they called him, בוא לפה, take your bag, go home, אתה לא חוזר לפה. You're not coming back here. We don't want you anymore. He started crying. No, you can't kick me again. He says, did you do it? He says, yeah. He says, but you don't kick me. And so they kicked him out. They get a letter, a few days later, Din Torah. The rabbi, the Menahel, gets a letter, Din Torah. So he looks at the letter, Din Torah. This little kid is inviting him to a Din Torah. The rabbi says, Din Torah? I'll go to Din Torah. He goes to Din Torah, and he tells the Dayan, did you hear what he did? So סיפר לו on the goat, he told him the problems did like the week before and all he's doing. And the Dayan is asking him, עשית את זה? כן. עשית את זה? כן. I did it? Yes. You did it? Yes. So the Dayan told him, so tell us, what's the Din Torah all about? He says, no. The Din Torah is the following. They want to kick me out of yeshiva, נכון? He says, כן. I agree they have the right to do that. Okay, אז מה אתה רוצה? He says, but they don't have a right to kick my son and my grandson out of yeshiva. So the rabbi says, מה אתה מתכוון? What do you want to say? He says, if they kick me out of yeshiva, I'm going to become not religious. I'm going to take off my kippah. I don't know if I'm going to continue keeping Shabbat. I don't know if I'm going to travel to Chutz La'aretz and marry a Goya. So they're going to kill all my generations to come.
צודק.
They cannot kick me out of
צודק
yeshiva.
באלף אחוז.
Okay? They cannot kick me out of yeshiva.
צודק.
כן?
כל אחד יתפוס איזה טרנד.
לא רק זה, אבל מה האחרים שהתקלקלו בגללו?
יפה, אבל לא מקלקל, הוא עושה trouble, הוא לא מקלקל.
לא מקלקל אנשים.
הוא...
מה עשה?
שם עז בתוך הספר.
מה הביג דיל? ילד שובב זה מה?
בקיצר.
ילד שובב, נו.
מה אומר הדיין? מה אומר הדיינים? מה אמרו הדיינים? תחזירו אותו.
הנה, אתה רואה, תחזירו את זה.
ומאז הוא נהיה צדיק. And since then he became a צדיק.
כל השושלת שלו.
זאת אומרת, תשמע, זאת אומרת, הרבנים צריכים לחשוב. If I kick him out, what's going to become out of him? It's very easy to kick out. היה סיפור, באו לרב מוצפי, אמרו לו איזה אחד, this boy is a troublemaker. אז הרב מוצפי אמר לבן אדם, תגיד, besides blaming him, did you pray for him? Should become a tzaddik? The rabbi says, yeah, I prayed for him. Okay, אמר לו, תן לו עוד שבוע, give him another week. Goes back, the rabbi comes back, אל תשאל, don't ask, what a troublemaker, we cannot take him on. So what's the rabbi? The rabbi gives, they didn't want to kick him out till the rabbi gives the okay. The rabbi says, רגע, התפללת, נכון? כן. צמת עבורו? Did you fast for him? He says, לא. He said, go fast for him. תצום עליו כמה ימים, fast few days for him, שיחזור בתשובה. תחזור אליי. He went, חזר, אומר רבי, צמתי עליו, כן? שמנו וזה, אז מה אתה רוצה? I want to kick him out. אמר לו, חשבת מה יכול לקרות מהדבר הזה? Did you think what can happen? He said, מה כן? He's going to turn around to religious. Who knows what's going to be with his children? Who knows who he's going to marry? אתה לא יודע. אתה רוצה שאני אקח את האחריות הזה? You want me to take responsibility for this? He said, I'm not giving such a thing. We have to know how to deal with kids. It's very easy to kick out a child.
Yes.
But you have to understand, you're kicking out, זה סיפור שקרה. פעם אחת החפץ חיים בא לבית כנסת, he came to a synagogue, and he saw a guy, somebody over there, and he says, חפץ חיים, אני לא נשאר בבית כנסת הזה, I'm not staying in this synagogue because חלמינסקי is here. חלמינסקי הוא זה אחד שהיה הורג יהודים.
כן,
כן.
הקוזקים.
הקוזקים.
כן.
אמרו לו, רבנו, איפה אתה רואה חלמינסקי? הוא אומר, this guy. He was pointing at the rabbi. אמרו לו, this is a מנהל בתלמוד תורה. He says, this is חלמינסקי. He says, why? Because he says, one of the boys that he kicked out today is killing Jews. with חלמינסקי. אמר, אני לא מתפלל בבית כנסת שיש חלמינסקי. You kick out a boy from Yeshiva, אתה לא יודע איך זה יסתיים. אז אתה לא יכול, אז תשים אותו במסגרת, go teach him, תיקח אותו, תעשה אותו מועל, שוחט, take a private tutor for him, תתפלל עליו, תצום עליו. מה אתה kick? Today they kick out kids from school, right? Or they give Ritalin. Or they kick them out, or Ritalin. Okay? They don't know how to educate, so they want the kid to be a dummy. אז אתה, you kill his brain, אז הוא יושב ככה בכיתה. מה יצא ממנו? מה, סתם אתה שומר אותו ככה? הרב עובדיה יוסף כותב, הרב עובדיה יוסף brings בשם רבי יצחק לוי מברדיצ'ב, זכותו יגן עלינו, הוא אומר, if you see a troublemaker, you know why? Because this kid has such big neshama, his body is too small to contain it. So the neshama wants to do trouble because she's fighting a small body, she doesn't know how to get out of this small cage they put her inside. ואתה יודע איזה potential, אם אתה תטפל בילד הזה, אתה יודע איזה potential הוא יהיה. אתה לא יודע, those troublemakers become the biggest rabbis. If they really get the chance, if you really give them a fair chance, they become the biggest rabbis. And they know to deal with difficult situations because they were in a difficult situation. They know exactly the situation. אתה מבין? היה אחד, אני אספר לכם סיפור.
יימח שמו וזכרו שהוא בא לרב שלו, והוא ביקש ממנו פעם אחת סליחה והוא לא סלט אותו, ובפעם השנייה,
כן, נכון.
הוא היה באמצע איזה משהו.
קריאת שמע.
קריאת שמע, נכון.
כן, והוא לא עוזר.
יפה.
בגלל שהוא לא עוזר, מה...
יפה.
על הצד השני כמה...
נכון, ודאי, ודאי.
בגלל שאם היה מחזיר אותו, רק מחזיר אותו, כמה היה מונע.
לעולם תהיה שמאל דוחה וימין מקרבת. תשמע סיפור. One time, there was בפולניה, Poland, היה איזה אחד troublemaker, אין כמוהו. So, everybody knew him. He was called יוסלה. היה משחק עם כלבים, חתולים, היה עושה בלגן.
אהבת חיים.
יום אחד, one day, הוא היה בבית שלו, יוסלה was in his house, הוא שומע a father screaming at his son, אוי ואבוי לך if you're going to become like יוסלה. הוא שמע את זה, he heard this, he was hurt. What do you mean? A father tells a son, don't be like Yosef, it means I'm really bad. מה עשה? החליט, הולך לישיבה, ללמוד, אבל לא בעיר, outside the city. אומר לאמא שלו, he tells his mother, I'm going to yeshiva. He says, yeah, go. No, I'm not going to this yeshiva. I'm going to far yeshiva. So she told him, wait till your father comes. She didn't know what he's up to. Wait till your father comes. At night his father comes and tells him, Abba, I want to go to yeshiva. No, I want to go to a far yeshiva. איזה ישיבה אתה רוצה ללכת? I'm going to go to Rabbi Chaim Volozhin.
Wow.
Rabbi Chaim Volozhin was the top yeshiva in the world at that time. That students came to him and he refused them because he didn't have room. He took only the elite students of all Europe. אמר לו, מה, אתה צוחק? He didn't even finish yeshiva קטנה, you want to go to Rabbi Chaim Volozhin. He says, that's it, tomorrow I'm leaving. But the father and mother saw that he's serious. So אמרו לו, תשמע, בני, תצליח. אולי יצא ממך משהו, maybe something is going to come out of you. The next day, בבוקר, הלך לקח לחם, took bread, took all kinds of things, went to see all his friends' animals, the dogs that he used to play with, the cats, אוסף את כל החיות, אומר להם, שלום, you're not going to see me, I'm going to yeshiva. Kids saw him and said, wow, this is going to be, what is going to do now? אמר להם, לא, שלום, I'm leaving town. What do you mean leaving town? Yeah, I'm going to רב חיים ולוז'ין. אתה חיים ולוז'ין? מה פתאום? הלך. It took him days and days and days, he reached רב חיים ולוז'ין ישיבה. תשמעו סיפור. הוא מגיע לישיבה, מחפש את הרב חיים, הוא רצה רב חיים, כן? אמר לו, אני רוצה להתקבל לישיבה. He told him, you're too young. So Rav Chaim thought maybe he knows all Shas by Alpe, maybe זה עילוי, so כדאי להסתכל. So, מה אתה יודע? He says, אני לא יודע כלום, I don't know nothing. He told him, listen, I cannot take responsibility. First of all, I don't have a room for you. And at that time, feeding the yeshiva boys was very hard. He said, I cannot accept you. So he told him, don't accept me. I'm going to sleep on the floor. טוב, עזב אותו, he thought after 2-3 days he's going to leave. בן אדם לא זז. So, אבל הרב רואה שהוא לוקח ספר, and he's trying, והוא בוכה. רב חיים told him מה קורה? I want to learn Torah, I want to learn. He saw that there's potential there. לקח איזה בחור, he took a boy, he told him, you learn with him in the morning. Took a second one, told him, you learn with him in the afternoon. Took a third one, you know that. התחילו ללמוד איתו, חברותה. והבן אדם, all of a sudden, תופס. מתחיל ללמוד משנה, גמרא, ותופס, and all of a sudden, he starts knowing a lot. והוא לומד שנה, שנתיים, 3, 4, 5. הוא נהיה one of the biggest תלמידי חכמים in the place. And the rabbi was very happy with him. One day, he receives a letter from his mother. You have to come home. Your father's business burned down. He needs you to help him. אז הוא אומר, okay, I have to ask the Rosh Yeshiva. Goes to Rav Chaim. אומר לו, רבנו, look at the letter my mother sent me. The father's business burned down. אמר לו, תעזוב את המכתב, he took the letter, put it, לך תלמד, go learn. טוב, the rabbi said. 2 weeks later, מקבל מכתב, your father became sick because of what happened, the tragedy that happened. He couldn't take it, he became sick. Come see your father, he's sick. go, ישר ישיבה. הולך לישיבה, מראה לו, הוא נותן לי את המכתב, give me the letter, go sit, learn. טוב, the rabbi said. 2 weeks later, he gets a letter, your father died, come sit Shiva with the family. מראה לרבי, אמר לו, sit Shiva over here. אתה לא הולך, you're not going. יושב שבעה. טוב, הרבי אמר. אחר כך המשיך ללמוד, continued learning. After a few months, בא איזה משלחת מגרמניה, it was a big delegation from Germany, it was a big community, and the rabbi passed away, and they were looking for Ilui. Ilui means the best of the students. So they knew the best of the students are the Yeshiva of Rav Chaim Volozhin. So they came to the rabbi to ask him a recommendation. So the rabbi said, oh, I have somebody for you. הלך הביא אותו, הוא היה צעיר, הוא היה בן 20 maybe, something like this. He brought the student, Yosale. He says, this is your future rabbi. They looked at him, he says, but he's young. He's young, but he's the top of the top, the cream in this yeshiva. Rabbi, if you recommend him, bracha v'atzlacha. He called Yosale. He told him, Mazal Tov, you're chosen to be the next rabbi of Germany in the biggest synagogue over there. So Yosale looked at the rabbi and says, okay, Rabbi, I do whatever you say, you know. But before I go, I must speak with you. Okay, come to my office. He took him privately to the office. Maish, mata mistapek, Rabbi, you have to answer my question. I won't be able to go unless you answer my question. Rabbi, when I came to you, when the father's business burned down, you didn't let me go. So I said, okay, but then the father fell sick. He didn't let me go. And then the father died. Come on, you didn't let me go. I do everything you told me. I did everything you told me. But I must have an explanation. If I don't have an explanation, I won't be able to live with it. I did everything you said. I didn't even naaseh. But now it's time to nishma. I want to understand, why did you say that? Why did you do that? So he told him, Yosale, a Satan chipes otcha. The Satan was after you. He was looking for you. He couldn't accept it that you became from Yosale HaShovav, the troublemaker. You became Yosale HaIlui, the top of the students. And the Satan was trying to bring you back home, so you'll take over your father's business and you forget about the studying, everything you studied. I knew that that's what's going to happen. And that's why I didn't let you go. And I knew also that something very big is waiting for you. And today, it's the day you're going to become one of the biggest rabbis in Europe. He became the biggest rabbi. אתה מבין? זה שאתה לוקח troublemaker ואתה invest in him, invest in him, you can have the top of the students, right? Eliphaz wasn't the top of the top, but at least he had derech eretz to listen to Yaakov. אתה מבין? So that's why we need so many people coming into yeshiva to study. Even if you study 1 year, even if you study 1 month, some people go for a week to Yerushalayim, they go into a program of a week. Kidai, because they're going to be honest Balei Batim. They're going to be truthful Balei Batim. They're going to be Balei Batim who listen to Torah, do mitzvot. Ve'ad kama ve'kama, if they sit and learn even more, ad kama. אבל זה lesson מיעקב ואליפז. Yaakov Eliphaz, the lesson is, Yitzchak by teaching Eliphaz Torah, saved Yaakov. זכותם תגן עלינו, הכל עם ישראל, אמן ואמן.
אבל הכל טוב ויפה, אבל האחרון, הוא אמר לו,